We are back with our webcast, Zooming with Driven, after a 6-month hiatus, and it is fantastic to be back. All new branding, Driven Car Guide this year, and we are going to put 5 episodes together as we head towards the biggest event of the New Zealand motoring calendar, and that is the AA Driven Car Guide New Zealand Car of the Year, in association with Winger Motors, home of Subaru and Suzuki, and you can visit one of the 6 dealerships from the North Shore to Hamilton. Great people, top car brands, the best deals, and you can find them at winger.co.nz. Now you can win as well. We have a competition for the Car of the Year. It's called the People's Choice Award, and there is $5,000 of fuel charge to win, and that means you can spend it on charge or petrol or diesel or whatever you might have. So all you have to do is vote for the car that you think should take out the Car of the Year. Not only that, we're going to be publishing one of these every Friday throughout November as we head towards the end of this amazing competition. And these boys are going to explain exactly how we're going to get there.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly starts off with driving lots and lots and lots of cars with myself, David and Damien. We're our core team from the Driven, and we also work with the AA judges as well. So for the past 12 months, we've been driving so many cars, probably close to 200 vehicles for the year. Which,
amazing.
Yeah, which is an average of 3 or 4 per week, which sounds great.
But you also have to write on those cars. There's a lot of work with it.
There's a lot. So we get together with the AA judges and come up with a long list of each of those categories. We've got about 12 categories, from SUVs to clean cars, hybrids, sports cars, luxury, safest cars, and there's a whole different category pretty much for whatever car buyer is looking for. So,
as a car guide, this is the absolute penultimate, isn't it?
Well, we're picking the best cars of the year. So we're cherry picking the best stuff for you, the consumer, to actually go out and consider. If you want to shortlist cars, here's the short list of the short list. Go and see what we actually think are the best vehicles from the year, because we whittle those long lists down to the best 3 in each of those classes. So basically, that's just summarises everything, so you can actually have bite size for whichever genre and whichever style of car you're looking at over the next few weeks. Till December 1 is our big day.
Yeah, so to break it down a bit more, each week we're going to announce the top 3 in each of the 12 main classes. As Dean said, on December 1 we announce all the winners right here. And from those winners, we get an overall top 3 and announce the overall champion, which will be the 2023 AA Driven Car Guide New Zealand Car of the Year. See, I got it all out in one breath. So last year's winner was the Ford Ranger. Controversial. We all loved it, though. Before that, the Toyota GR Yaris, also a bit controversial actually. So, you know, we don't shy away from the hard decisions.
Yeah.
Been a whole bunch of EVs. In fact, we've got 7 EVs on test right now this week.
Gosh.
7. Every single car is an electric car. So will there be a big shift this year? Let's find out.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I think when you say controversial that the Ranger won it is because of the influx of electric cars last year. Sure. You know, and look how diverse that is. You've got a Ford Ranger, which is a diesel ute, and then the year before, a little performance car with a 3-cylinder. You know, so I love the fact that we are literally looking for the car that impresses us the most. So, gosh, what's it going to be? Is it going to be electric this year? We're going to go through the categories.
Yeah, so we can probably kick that off with the SUVs. Now this week we're running SUVs, small, medium and large. Large obviously includes 7-seaters. But I guess so many vehicles are called SUVs these days. Even the smallest kind of cars are SUVs. Yeah,
it's an absolutely huge category. And when we say small SUV, you might think of sort of more mainstream cars, but actually all the premium car brands have got small SUVs too. It's a huge thing. Yeah. So the first one, let's just kick off.
Yeah.
The first one on our list is the BMW X1, which is maybe not the car you'd expect to find in a small SUV category. They're alphabetical, by the way. But X1 is previous X1s have been, maybe a little bit ho-hum. This one, it's just bang up to date. It's, one of the most modern cars that BMW makes. And these days, the thing about technology is that car makers don't reserve it for the really expensive cars. If they've got something to offer, it goes into everything. So this X1 is really like a miniature version of, big, really expensive BMW SUVs. It's got everything. It's got all the tech. There are 2 models. It starts at 72 grand, by the way. So that's probably a lot of money for a small SUV, but it's not a lot of money for a really high-tech premium BMW.
See, this is interesting because, I've always loved the X3 and the X5, and the X1 was just never a car I considered.
New X1 is an awesome thing, and there are only 2 models. There's a petrol one, which has got a 3-cylinder engine, which is actually a fantastically fun car to drive. But there's also now the iX one, which is a pure electric version. So it's got 430 k's range. It's a brilliant car too. Number 2 on the list, Kia Niro. Now, we're all familiar with the Kia Niro. It's been around for a while, since 2016. This is the brand new model. Niro has always been an electrified car only, but every type of electrification. So you can get a hybrid one, standard petrol electric. You can get a plug-in hybrid, a PHEV, and you can get a pure EV. So there's 3 different sort of powertrains, ton of different models to choose from. Really well priced, starts at 45 grand. We all think the new Niro looks fantastic. It's really unusual. It's got that big, the top versions have got that big coloured blade down the side of them, which I think looks fantastic. You know, like you buy a black one, you get a big orange blade down the side of it. Very cool. The PHEV's got pretty decent range, 60 Ks, and the EV is actually 460 Ks range. That's the pure electric version. So it's a great car, just really polished, does everything really well.
And you're going to have to congratulate Kia there too for, you know, there's so many people that don't really know how to attack this kind of electrification market. Some are too shy, some might want to go halfway. So to cover all bases seems a fairly smart option.
Absolutely.
And then we've got the Toyota Yaris. Obviously, there's a number of different models in the Yaris range, but we judge the SUV categories on the holistic models, like the Kia Niro having various models, and same with the Toyota Yaris hatch. So we've got 1.5 litre petrol 3-cylinder. We've got the hybrid version as well, which is super economical, down to like I think low 4 litres per 100, which in the current government setup still gets you a rebate. So it doesn't have a plug-in, but it still gets you a $2,000 rebate, which alone is an incentive. So starting about $40,000, give or take, depending on which model you get as well. But yeah, there's the hatch, there's the Yaris Cross as well, which is new and just gives you a different version as well. And like the other models, like the small SUV carries the technology and the mod cons from the larger models down, from the RAV4, for example, or the CHR. It kind of starts filtering down, and they have filtered down in the small SUV category as well. So, yeah, really, really impressive. Of course, it's a different model, but the Yaris GR Sport, of course, that won 2 years ago, that is a different body shape, different model, doesn't really fall under this category this time around, and can't really buy it anymore. So
there is actually a halfway house. So there's the Yaris Cross GR Sport. Is one that we drove this year, so that's the SUV, and it's not a full GR model, but it's got a little bit of, it's dressed up a bit, and it's got different suspension, and it's actually a really nice car to drive, and it looks the part too.
When you're choosing these categories and these cars, and they have a range of different engines, when a car has a certain performance variant, does that add to the kind of the want to have that car? Does that give it points?
I think like any sports car in any brands, it gives it credentials and kudos and credence. So definitely, and certainly the GR Yaris has bumped up the Yaris name.
Yeah, and it's just more choice for consumers. And the fact of the matter is, the GR Sport is not the most expensive Yaris Cross, so it's a perfectly viable choice if you want the one that's looks a bit snazzier. You're not paying the most.
Right, wonderful. Now you guys have got a pretty big job on that. Those are the 3 great cars. So where do we go from here? Medium SUVs.
Medium SUV, yeah. So this is really a big one because year to date, it's a quarter of all new vehicle sales in New Zealand are medium SUVs. So,
wow.
You know,
we had about 10 cars in our long list.
Yeah. This was the one we I'll say chatted, but it was argued about the most. So we're kicking off the list with the Honda ZR-V, which is a car that we've all been super impressed with. It's a new model for Honda, so it fits. People might remember the old HR-V, which is not sold here anymore. It's larger than that, but it's smaller than the new CR-V, which has just been launched in New Zealand. So the CR-V is not eligible this year because we haven't reviewed it yet. But just to put the ZR-V into context, it's sort of in the middle. So it's a medium-sized SUV. There's a couple of different models. It's a really polished thing. It's sort of probably the first new generation SUV from Honda. There's a standard turbo one, which has just got a normal combustion engine with a turbo. But the one that we've been super impressed with is the eHEV. So it's got the same technology as a little Jazz. It's like a range extender. It uses the engine as a range extender, and it generates electricity to drive the wheels. And lots of new features, new technology and everything. It's got connected car services and everything now. So yeah, brilliant SUV.
Also new for this year is the Mazda CX-60. The nomenclature is getting a little bit different. We've had CX-5s, which are still going. We've had CX-90 arrive on the scene as well. But CX-60 is a new addition to the range. It's like a rear-wheel drive platform. So it is all-wheel drive.
It's a gorgeous looking car.
Yeah, the whole setup is kind of a little bit reminiscent of a sports car seating position. You're very much mounted midship in it. And a little bit getting back to the old, getting back to the old with a 3.3 litre 6-cylinder petrol engine in it as well, which
Likeable.
makes good power, 209 kilowatts, 450 newton metres. But we've also got probably maybe a little bit of a headline stealer of the 3.3 is the Mazda's first plug-in hybrid electric vehicles, the 2.5 litre 4-cylinder version, which actually makes more power. Most powerful Mazda in its range ever. 241 kilowatts. Outpowers RX-7s, RX-8s, anything. So 500 newton metres. So as a holistic platform, 2 models at the moment, and different spec levels. CX-60, very impressive package.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So also the third one, medium SUV, a little bit of a surprise, but not at the same time. Tesla Model Y. What a sales storm that has hit up this year on sales alone. Popularity. They say it's not a popularity contest. I think Tesla will probably disagree with that because sales, it had 2,900, almost 3,000 sales of Tesla Model Y to the end of September for 2023.
Can't argue with that.
The only other electrified car to sell more is the Toyota RAV4, so at 4,600. So Tesla Model Y sold 3,000. I think the next best was possibly BYD Atto 3, about 600 or 700 sales less, fewer sales. So it's going great guns with sales. Model Y Performance has been introduced this year as well. So you've got different versions. There's models that come under the rebate cap, rear-wheel drive. There's the performance model. I guess it's such a mainstream car now. It's overtaken Model 3, which is technically a sedan, as the high performance choice, I guess, for an electric vehicle. It's almost the default go-to. Plenty of lovers, plenty of haters of the Tesla brand, but it's become an EV that effectively is a mainstream appliance these days. So it's just such a normal word to go with Tesla. So
Went on my first one last night.
Really?
In Christchurch.
First ever?
Yeah. It was a nice car. Yeah. Large SUVs. Yeah, sorry to hesitate. Yeah. And the category that is closest to my own heart.
Well, you've got 33 children.
Yeah, I've got 33 children.
7 seats enough for you.
Is there anything here with sliding doors?
No, thank God. Well, not in this group anyway. Most manufacturers realise that only you would buy a sliding door.
I love sliding doors.
We've heard that, once or twice.
Should have mentioned that.
So, new for this year was a bit of an update of the Ford Everest. Now, it's always been a good popular choice, the Everest, but they've given it a few updates. It's obviously the 7-seater. It only comes in the 2-litre bi-turbo diesel 4-cylinder, which is actually a really good engine now. It can be economical. It can also be a little bit thirsty, if you like that as well. And they are just adding to the range recently is the Wildtrak X model that has the 3-litre V6 and I think part-time 4-wheel drive.
It's full-time, actually.
Full-time, that's right.
Four-wheel drive.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's essentially a Ford Ranger SUV, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's no wonder it's so good.
Yes. So, but with better ride quality and just better for the family as well. So, Ford Everest, really, really good, worthy top 3 finalist.
And the next one is Jeep Grand Cherokee, which seems like a bit of an old soldier. And it's obviously the fans love the shape. Jeep fans love to keep the traditional shape. So it looks quite similar to previous generations. It's actually brand new. It's a really high-tech car. We drove it first in the L form, which is 7-seat, which you would love. Yeah. It's an enormous thing. It's just so much space. So
bigger
much
the better, I say. You've got to be able to wheel a double pram into the back of it.
Yeah, easy. So, it's no sweat. Loaded with tech. In fact, it's got stuff. One of the options is night vision. So, it's like a really state-of-the-art car. Yeah.
Wow. And what would you use that for? I mean, other than seeing at night, but...
It's really good at night if you're on country roads or even in multi-level car parks at night, because it's like a heat signature. So you'll see pedestrians, you'll see animals, you'll see things that they'll pop up. So it's a really useful thing. But the one that came along later that we were also very impressed with, when the shorter wheelbase version came along, which is on sale now, so that's just your 5-seat, it introduced the 4xe powertrain, which is Jeep's plug-in hybrid tech. So that's got quite a modern 2-litre engine, it's got quite a big battery, and the electric motor is actually in the gearbox. So even if you go in EV mode, off-road, it's still a full proper Jeep 4-wheel drive, even in electric mode.
Wow.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, fantastic indeed. Well, it's a pretty good place to start, guys.
Well, we've got one. Don't get carried away.
Is there one? Have I missed one?
One more. We've got the Lexus RX.
Right.
So Lexus RX, obviously a bit of an icon among hybrid vehicles. It was probably the first what we might call performance hybrid, sort of back in the day. This is a brand new model, so really polished as you'd expect from a Lexus, just beautiful luxury car. But Lexus has also introduced a brand new version. It's the RX 500 HF Sport. That's a bit of a mouthful as well. And that has got a turbo hybrid engine, which is a first for Lexus, to combine a turbo with a hybrid. It's got a 6-speed auto, so most, actually I think it's an 8-speed auto. I think I wrote that down wrong. That's unusual for an RX because they're normally continuously variable. And it's also got a new kind of electronic four-wheel drive system called Direct 4, and it's got 4-wheel steering. So it's a super high-tech car.
Yeah, wow.
So the whole range is really impressive, but that's kind of the standout one if you're a bit of an enthusiast.
No, standout indeed. I mean, no sign of the Kia Carnival there, but that's fine. You know, it's your competition. I don't have a say, so... I mean, you guys are the ones driving the cars and I'm not, so well done. What's in the print this week?
Yeah, we're still on the weekly print version, of course. It goes on every Saturday in the Weekend Herald, and this week we've got the Porsche Rennsport reunion. So somebody special went along to that very recently.
He was very special. So Rennsport reunion, if you haven't heard of it, because I hadn't before I went.
Yeah.
It's the world's biggest Porsche festival. It's held it's a US thing. It's Porsche.
Did you go to that? Did you?
Yeah, I sure did.
How was that?
It was fantastic. So big event at Laguna Seca. It's run by Porsche North America and also the Porsche American Owners Club, which has 150,000 members. So
wow.
But it's just a massive. It's a great event. Anything Porsche that you would be interested in was there, including 356 number 1, the very first Porsche ever made. That was there. Everything's there. If you want to go and see a 917, if you want to see Derek Bell wandering around, he'll be there. If you want to see Jerry Seinfeld wandering around, he'll be there.
959s?
959s.
Indeed.
Lots of 9. There were so many 959s, they were just tucked in a corner and no one bothered with them.
No such. I don't
So
believe.
fantastic event. This was the 7th one at Laguna Seca, and it's the great thing about it. You'll see it in the print issue and also the stories online. It's just a great family event too. Tons of really serious Porsche enthusiasts / nerds there, but also just tons of families having a great time. There's tons of stuff for kids. There's Pixar cars and Transformers cars and all sorts.
And is the track active as the event's on?
Yep, there's racing going all the time.
Yeah,
so
wonderful.
There's not just like Carrera Cup racing, but all the historic cars go out. 356 number 1 did a few laps. There's 919 hybrids shooting around. So the track, it's 4 days in total, and there's cars circulating on the track all the time.
I am an absolute expert on that track on Gran Turismo.
We've got also all the more detail on what makes these cars so special for the Car of the Year finalists as well. We've got a Cupra Leon Sports Tourer and also BMW i7, a big luxury electric vehicle, which is very, very impressive in the luxury stakes. So, first bit of drive of that one, local drive of that. So,
Nice one. Plenty of content out there. These guys are just tireless in terms of the cars they're driving, the things they're doing. Then you can check out all of that stuff at drivencarguide.co.nz. Next week, what are we doing next week? The clean cars.
Doing clean cars next week.
Yeah, so the top 3 finalists for hybrid, plug-in hybrid, FEV, BEV, battery and electric vehicles, and of course that is with the partnership of Winger Motors for Subaru and Suzuki. You can find them, Subaru, I get in trouble every time I say that, and Suzuki, you can find them at winger.co.nz because everyone loves a Subaru. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube as well, and all the links to the drivencarguide.co.nz. Thank you for watching.